Hi, congratulations on staging this newly reimagined version of the show of Do You Hear the People Sing at the Hollywood Bowl? Can you tell
Thank you.
us how different this is from the other versions that you did in Shanghai, Manila, Taipei, or Australia?
Sure. It, the songs are usually the same. It's the music of Les Miserables, Miss Saigon, The Revolution Française, Martin Guerre, Pirate Queen. But we change the concert every time depending on who's in it.
Wow.
So we celebrate, as well as celebrating the songs and Boublil and Schoenberg, we celebrate the amazing legacy of all the performers that have been in the shows for the past 50 and more years.
Mhm. And talk about having John Briones and Emily Bautista in the show. Have you seen them
I'm really
perform
excited.
before?
Yes, I saw John in Miss Saigon, and I've seen I missed the US tour of when Emily took over, but I saw her on Broadway,
Mhm.
and she was Undercover Kim on Broadway, and she took over in the US tour and played Eponine in Les Mis as well. She's just actually finished playing Eponine in Les Mis at the Mooney, which was really successful. So I'm excited. She's fantastic,
Mhm.
and
And
John is a legend, obviously. So
what do you think they can bring to their performances can bring to the show?
there's incredible voices for a start. But John is a force of nature, and there's nothing that anybody can do that's like what he does, and that's been demonstrated. He's just finished a run in Hadestown on Broadway. His huge success in Miss Saigon in London and on Broadway and on the DVD um, is a testament. And he was, let's not forget, he's been a part of Miss Saigon since 1989, since the very, very first cast in London. So he's got form with this show.
Mhm. You're like the godfather of Filipino artists because you've been including them in almost all your shows. So talk about having also Lea Salonga and Jennifer Paz.
Jennifer Paz, I love Jennifer Paz. Because they're the best singers in the world. Filipinos are the best singers in the world. Leia did the first version of this concert before I came on board, when it was just a symphony concert in the US. And then she did it in China for me. And then 10 years ago, we did a concert in Manila where we had Marisa Mora, who's at the Hollywood Bowl with us, who was the original French Cosette. Um, Ed Marie and David Harris and Leia, who were part of the international tour at that time. And then we had all these amazing Filipino artists who've been part of Miss Saigon since its beginning. So Menchu Lachenko, Michael Williams, Carla Guevara, La Forteza, all these amazing people. And we did 2 nights at Resorts World, as it was called, in Manila, and raised enough money to build 200 homes and a schoolroom that had been devastated by Typhoon Yolanda. And actually, the week after we're at the Hollywood Bowl, we're going back to Manila to do another concert, this time for the Upskills Foundation,
Wow. So
and with a completely different cast from LA, which is an amazing thing. But there, some people coming back. We've got Carla Guevara, Armin Ferrer, Menchie is back, Michael is back. Between Escalante, who's amazing, is going to sing the American Dream. Um, it's going to be pretty great. We've got Abigail Adriana, who's a Filipino Australian, who's currently playing Kim in the international tour of Miss Saigon, and Nigel Huckle, who's her Chris. Bradley Jaden, who's the about to be on the world tour of Javert, of Les Mis at Javert. It's a big sparkly cast. We're very lucky that everywhere we go, we have these amazing artists.
how were you able to pull it off, putting up a concert in Resorts World Manila and then raise that kind of money, and gather all these Filipinos? Talk about that
I, I
experience.
wish I I wish I could take the credit for it. There's a great team there. They have Full House Productions, who are their in-house production company, and we had a great relationship from working with them last time. And so last year, when they asked about doing it again, we jumped. Alan, Claude Michelle, and I jumped at the opportunity to go back. So they do all the hard work. We just arrive and put the show together, but they rehearse it. Gerard Salonga, who's Leia's brother, is our conductor, and uh, so all the work is happening already before we get there.
Mhm. And what gave you the idea to raise funds and do this show in Manila to raise money for the typhoon victims?
We had been in. think Taipei doing the show there, and we'd seen the news. We were with Leia, and we saw the news and kind of said, well, what can we do to help? And our wonderful team got together, and it was the quick it was the quickest it's ever happened. I think that was January. We were in Manila in March, so it was very, very quick, and we had it was all the stars aligned to make it work.
And so, did you eat any Filipino food, learn any Philippine language?
I didn't learn very much of the language. Somebody tried to make me eat balut,
Yes.
and there was a step too far for me. But I did eat adobo, and I do cook adobo fairly regularly because it's delicious. And I've forgotten that. There's a sour soup that's supposed to be very
Sinigang.
popular that I've been. Pardon?
Sinigang.
That's it. So I'm going to try that when I'm there next time. But I've been to Manila a few times, and I've always been really impressed with the food,
Mm,
the hospitality, second to none.
mhm. So this show is also going to Manila after Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, 5 days later, we we leave the morning after Hollywood Bowl, and we get there on the Tuesday, by which time they'll have done 2 days rehearsal, and then we're on Friday and Saturday night at It's now called Newport World Resorts, but what
Uh,
used to be Resorts World.
mm. It's a big
It's,
production.
it's
Tell us how
yeah, it's
your
huge.
collaboration with Alan Bublé and Claude Michel Schoenberg started.
That It was one of those amazingly fortuitous things, just the right place at the right time. I produced my first ever big show in Australia, which was the Stephen Sondheim review, Side by Sondheim. And Ruthie Henshaw, who was big West End and Broadway star, had come out to do 3 songs in that concert. And afterwards, we'd been talking about what I wanted to do next. I said, "Oh, I'd love to do a Bublé and Schoenberg concert," but they've never granted permission for one before. There've been there've been things that they've been involved with, but they've never granted it to a third party. And Ruthie, who knew them from her time in Les Mis, Saigon, Marguerite, introduced me. And it's been 12 years now that we've been doing this show. So I owe her. I'm very grateful to her.
Mm, congratulations. And you're a
Thank
former
you.
singer and actor too. When did you
Oh,
decide
a
to
long time ago.
when did you decide to go into international theatrical production?
That day when I when I had that conversation with I had been in Side by Sometime. We were touring Australia and it was quite successful. Then when we decided to do the big concert version of it, and there was 4 or 5 other male singers in it, I was sitting watching it, and I kind of thought, if I was casting this as a producer, I'm not thinking, would I cast me or would I cast any of those people? And I thought, I'd cast them first. And it was a really kind of a moment of clarity where I got to go, actually, I'm enjoying this bit more than the stress of going on stage and all that stuff. And it's the best decision I ever made, because I've been doing, like I say, for 12 years now. I've had the opportunity to travel the world and to meet amazing people and work with my musical idols at every turn. It's amazing. And now I'm doing a show at the Hollywood Bowl, which is I still can't I still can't quite believe it. But yeah, it was a great choice those years ago.
Was it your first choice?
Which
Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood was everybody's first choice, right? It's a few people have said to me when I've been telling them about it, you'll never take this off your resume. It's true, because it's the uh, it's the it's a milestone in anybody's career, no matter who you are. I was there a couple of weeks ago. I was talking to the security guard at the car park, because I went down to there's a big LED screen at the front, and I went down to take a picture of the Do You Hear the People Sing marquee. And he said, "Oh, I can." Was a bit embarrassed about it. And he said, "No, no, we see the biggest stars in the world going down there to see their name on the Hollywood Bowl sign. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a yeah, it's I'm really excited. It's my first show in the US as well, so that's exciting in itself."
What was the first show you saw at the Hollywood Bowl that really impressed you?
I see the show at the Hollywood. So the first show that I'll see at the Hollywood Bowl is mine, and that's kind of cool. Oh, I'm there for a week, and I'm hoping to get to see there's some stuff on the week that we're there, but I don't know if I'll have time.
Mm,
But they program great stuff, so
yeah.
it's lucky to have it.
Mhm. What was the first theatrical production that you saw that changed your life and made you decide that you want to be involved with theater?
So there's two fronts of the story. When I was 2, my mum took me to the movie of Greece, and I apparently wasn't a very quiet child, so not much has changed. But um, when we sat in the cinema, apparently I stood in the seat and stared at the movie for the full 2 hours and was completely enthralled by it. And it had never happened before. So they thought, oh, we could take him to the cinema, he'll be quiet, and that didn't work out. And then the following year, they took me to see Annie in Dublin. I'm Irish. They took me to see Annie, and I had the same response. And I remember it so vividly. And I was completely enthralled and completely in love with Jacinta White, who's the girl who played Annie. She's also a Miss Saigon alum now as well. She was Ellen in the West End. And that it literally changed my life. I remember it, and I never ever wanted to do anything else.
Hmm, that's amazing. So after Manila of your production, are you going to other countries?
After Manila, we're on a break. I'm doing Carousel in Australia, and we're working on more international dates for Do You Hear the People Sing, like I can talk about. And I've got another show called Defying Gravity, which is a concert of Stephen Schwartz songs that we're looking at for 2025 as well.
Mm.
So I get a little rest at the end of this year, but not for long.
What do you think is the secret of your success?
I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about musical theatre, and I think that helps because it's hard. It can be hard work sometimes. And I'm diligent, and I've got a kind of attention to detail. I like to focus on the detail. I've also got a really great team of people with me now, which
Yeah.
is something that's happened quite recently. But it's nice to have people that I trust. Our tour manager Andrew Katz has been with me since I was a performer, so 20 years now. So from all the kind of tiny gigs in clubs and um, cabaret rooms in Australia to the Hollywood Bowl. So I feel like it's kind of paying off for him now.
And if you had the opportunity to stay longer in the Philippines, what would you do?
Oh, a couple of the cast are staying longer, and they're going to. Oh, I wish I knew you were going to ask me this because I would look it up. There's a beach resort with these amazing huts and these beautiful blue oceans, and that's for
Either
someone.
Palawan, Boracay,
Palawan, that's it.
Palawan. Yeah.
And that's what the next time I go there, I'm definitely I'm going to
Yeah.
stay a bit longer. The first time I was there, I didn't leave Resorts World. I didn't, apart from going to the airport and back, I didn't actually leave the building. We were so busy. Last time I was there, I got to be a tourist for a little while, see
Mm.
some shows and eat some food and catch up with some friends.
Well,
I love it there.
thank you. Thank you for being the patron of arts in the Philippines too.